Welcome to the Kelly Healing Project, where we have real conversations about healing, growth, and stepping into your power. I'm Kelly, and I'm so glad you're here. So, have you ever noticed that sometimes you know exactly what you should do, but you just can't seem to do it? You know you shouldn't overthink that text message. You know you don't need to people please. And you know you don't have to control every situation. And yet you still find yourself doing it. What if I told you that many of these behaviors aren't because you're weak, lazy, or lacking discipline? What if they're actually your nervous system trying to protect you? So today I want to talk about something that completely changed the way I view healing, and that's the realization that your nervous system may be shaping far more of your life than you realize. So there's so many of us that think, well, I'm just an anxious person, or I'm just an overthinker, or I'm just a perfectionist, or I'm just a people pleaser. But what if those aren't personality traits? What if many of those behaviors started because at one point in your life that helped you feel safer? So basically, children adapt. So if a child grows up needing to keep everyone happy, then they become hyper aware of other people's emotions. And if a child experiences criticism, they may become a perfectionist. So if home feels unpredictable, then control begins to feel safe. So those adaptations were intelligent and they helped you survive. But surviving isn't the same thing as living. And I've experienced this so much in my own life. I used to be an overthinker. I used to be super hyper aware of everyone's emotions. I could read them like a book. Um, and I also used to be a perfectionist. I used to think that whatever I did needed to be perfect. And at the time, I thought that was my personality. When actuality, it was not. Those were different ways that I adapted living in the environment that I did. And, your nervous system and your brain, just your whole body, it's an amazing thing. And it adapts when you're in an environment that is unsafe. And it doesn't have to necessarily be, quote, unsafe, as in you have a weapon pointed at your head at all times. Your nervous system, if your nervous system doesn't feel safe, even safe sharing your emotions, safe just being your true, authentic self, then your nervous system is going to take it as a threat that we are in danger. Because literally, you cannot even be yourself. You can't be your authentic self. And a lot of narcissistic households, it's like allowing the child to develop their character, develop their personality is somehow a threat to the family dynamic. Well, first of all, let me say that's not a very strong family dynamic that, you aren't even allowed to be yourself because that's some sort of threat. The narcissistic parent will require you to serve their needs, their happiness, their wants, it has to serve that sort of, quote, dynamic that it's not stable anyways, that picture, that family unit. And it's also a sort of image that they have to preserve, an image that's of something that is just, it's not sustainable. And also I know of other people that, they will try to control everything. Every little bit of just their whole day has to be controlled. And I get it. I can there are certain things that obviously if you don't plan out your day, then, your day runs you. So it's great to, plan your goals and what you're going to do. But there's a point where it becomes super controlling. And that is, you don't want that. I know of people who are just extremely controlling. And it's just the point. I mean, like at the point, I mean, why? Why even try? Why even what is the point of this? You're making yourself so unhappy trying to control every little tidbit of just information, just everything that happens. Do you realize that things are going to pop up in your life that are outside of your control? Things are going to happen at work. Something's going to happen and something's going to fall apart. You just wing it. You just go with it. That's what makes us a truly strong person. A strong person can be flexible. They can adapt easily to their environment. And I've met people that, oh my gosh, something happens, man. They just fall apart. Like they cannot handle it. They don't work well under pressure, and it shows. But it's something, and then I'm not making fun of those people. It's something that, you need to learn to relax a little bit, to let go, and to stop being so controlling. My life has become so much easier the more that I let go and I stop trying to control the outcome. Because that is one of the ways, that is one of the biggest ways that you will make yourself unhappy, is if you're trying to control the outcome, you're trying to control everything. And isn't that freaking exhausting? I don't want to live that life. So we just wing it, That's what I've learned to do in my life. I don't have a lot of things planned out. I mean, I have my day planned out. I know my goals and I'm working towards them. But for the most part, I don't have, even on the weekend, I don't have my days planned out. This is whatever I feel like. Like when I feel like I need to, hey, I need to get out of the house. I need to go do that. Okay, great. I don't have things planned out. Just whatever. We're just winging it. And life has become so much funner. Has become more fun. The more that I do that, the more that I let go, the more that I relax. But so my point is that it's not necessarily your personality trait. It is it is a behavior that you've adapted based upon the environment that you were in. And you have been this behavior has become so ingrained in you and you become such a part of it that you can't even see it, but other people on the outside can see it. When you're stuck in this habit loop, you're so like, it's a part of you, and the next, like you get triggered and then you go into this thing, like you can't even see it. And it takes you stepping back and you questioning things and you trying to, hey, is this normal? Do I like this? Do I like the fact that I do this? Does this make me feel good? No, this makes me very unhappy the more that I have to control. Because when I realize that I can't control it, guess what? I become disappointed and I go into this whole spiral of, just negative behavior, negative self-talk. But why do you do it to yourself? Like, why? So start questioning that. Just because it's a behavior that you've done for so long doesn't mean that and I'm not going to say, quote, normal. I'll say just, maybe it's not a productive behavior. It's not for your highest good. And maybe it would benefit you and future generations if you took a step back and you actually looked at it and maybe question that maybe I would be a lot happier if I, handled this another way. And try that, because be flexible. So one of the biggest signs of a dysregulated nervous system is trying to control everything. Control conversations, control outcomes, control relationships, control schedules, and control how other people feel. Have you ever noticed the more uncertain life feels, the tighter you grip? So the nervous system equates certainty with safety. So healing isn't learning to control more. Healing is learning to tolerate uncertainty without falling apart. Control often feels like safety, but peace comes from learning that you can handle uncertainty. And I didn't even realize that I did this, but I would try to control the outcomes, try to control conversations. I would, even the night before I knew, I needed to do a social event, I would kind of question, okay, I think I'm going to say this and I'm going to say this. I was trying to control the conversation and control the outcome. And that is just freaking exhausting. And the more you control something, the more forced it feels. It doesn't feel natural. Who wants to be a part of that? I don't want to be a part of a conversation that feels like it's forced. You need to let things flow naturally. And I realize now that a lot of that was related to, well, I wouldn't, okay, quote, social anxiety, but who would not have anxiety when you grew up in a toxic, narcissistic household that was just all over the place and you were blamed for things and you just learned to accept accountability and just say, I'm sorry for things that were even outside of your control. And side note, this is probably, I did a podcast on this, but just signs of people who have been abused are people who apologize a lot. And most likely this is from childhood. It's become so ingrained in you. And also as well as people who over explain. People who go into this long thing, they feel like, they have to tell you everything to make you understand. So you side with them and you don't, And I understand it now. And part of that controlling the conversation was a little bit of that social anxiety. And if I didn't grow up in a narcissistic household, or the household that I did grow up in, I probably wouldn't even had social anxiety. I wouldn't have anxiety probably. Well, maybe a little bit. Okay. But I wouldn't have social anxiety. But growing up and you have, I grew up in a single parent household and you have just one parent and I was an only child. So it was literally, she was the only person in my household that I really had a first interaction with, getting close to somebody with. And so when you're young and you learn that you cannot trust that individual, then you learn that you can't trust people. And then also, with that, and when they blame you for everything, you learn to doubt yourself so much. You doubt everything, even if your intuition is screaming at you. You become to doubt, you doubt yourself, you invalidate yourself because you were invalidated growing up. You couldn't share your emotions. You couldn't be your own person because you had somebody that literally just basically sucked the life out of you. I'm being honest, that's really what it was. But I used to try to control conversations because, I wanted things to flow smoothly. I wanted people to like me. I don't care anymore. But I know there's still a little bit of trauma still there related to that, just because of the abandonment and just constantly just having people walk all over me. But you know what? Now is my time, and I'm going to speak up to those who have experienced things like this, and I'm going to shine a light on it. And I don't care who the fuck gets pissed off about it. The very people who get pissed off at the fact that you speak up and you share your side of the story are the very people, we need to expose. And we need to stop siding with the people that are loudest. And I've noticed the people that are loudest are usually the most toxic people. True confidence is quiet. We don't need to overtalk you. We don't need to. But I've noticed that insecure people, they have to be the loudest because they're trying to prove something. What the fuck are you trying to prove? Why are y'all not okay just being yourself? And then it's funny the amount of people that just project all their nastiness. And one thing that I've learned is that narcissism, there's a really big misconception that narcissists are just truly head over heels in love with themselves. And that is by far, that is so far from the truth. They hate themselves so much. And they are so terrified of going internally to see, they can't go inward and actually do the healing. No, okay, I take that back. Yes, if they choose to do it and they're tired of living that life, they can do it. But they are so busy projecting their own shit. And that's basically what it is. Their own shit, their own insecurities, basically everything that they feel, they project it outwards. And you can tell how somebody treats themselves by how they treat other people. There's a lot of things in this world that are, what's a good word for it? They're very misleading. So as within, so without. So, your external environment is a projection of your internal environment. So that goes for the case, even of how you treat other people. And then other people that come in your life, they're reflecting a part of you. You're somehow attracting those people into your life. So if you attract the wrong partners, if you attract abusive partners, then there is something in you that's being abusive or, quote, not nice to yourself. And the more that you work on that, the more that you heal that, the less you will experience that in your physical reality. So a lot of things, most people, and when you think about it, it's not really that hard, but a lot of people, they're so brainwashed by their own ego and, other people, the people that are the loudest, don't believe, and these narcissists, they don't want to be exposed. And I have a feeling that I know my light pisses off some people's demons. And, I really don't care because all I'm doing is living and being myself and sharing my story and helping other people know that they can overcome that and they can control their demons. My demons quiver at my name because they know that they have no power over me. Bitch, excuse me, okay, I get a little fired up about this, but I have been through what it feels like hell and back. And I've had moments where I was so hard on myself, and that inner voice really just, it took over, and, it wasn't very nice at all. But also I've worked on, raising my vibration and a lot of these things. And some of these things, guys, this could be a whole other podcast, but some of these things, they're not necessarily even your own energy. And even the thoughts and the feelings that come up, they're not necessarily your own. And when you become more protective of your energy and you learn to differ, you have, discernment to know what is yours and what is not yours, and you know how to get rid of when it feels like this energy doesn't feel good, it doesn't feel like mine, it's game over. They do not have control, and they don't like that. And I know even me speaking about this, there's going to be certain things that want me to hush. They don't want me to say this. They don't want me to speak up, and I really don't give a fuck. I don't care. Because all this, everything that I have been through, and this has been a long journey for me, and this is how it's always been. And no matter what I've done, this is on my mind 24/7. This is my purpose. This is my passion. This is what God has called me to do, and I will do it. And and for so long I was so, they've been preparing me. I've been preparing and getting ready, and now's the time, and it's just getting started. But, people have no idea. And I know certain things that I can't tell you how I know them. I just know them. And people, anyways, I'm not going to get too into that, but people have no idea. And I'm so honored to just be a part of this bigger movement of helping people, because that is what I am called to do and what I am here to do. And I will speak up, and even if people don't fucking like it, you don't like it because it exposes things in you in ways that you're not healing and things that you're avoiding looking at. But do you realize the amount of fucking freedom and joy and happiness that are on the other side of healing? Let me tell you how, even me, when I started this journey, it's been at least 15 years, because I started off with weekly trauma therapy, and I did it for 7, almost 8 years. And I can't remember, God, I don't know. It may have been, I don't know the exact timeline. I know I've been healing for at least 15, maybe 20 years. And, how I was before healing, my gosh. like I still always had this beautiful light about me, but there were times where that trauma and all of that, I feel like kind of, and being around my mother and having somebody who constantly criticizes you and feeling like you can never do anything right is fucking exhausting. Like I would get triggered constantly if I even thought about her or, my first memory or even some of the memories, like I would get triggered and I would cry. It was horrible. And then I would use like heavy metal music to kind of drown out the pain. I wasn't fully present. If anything, in most of my life, I have not fully been present. Like I have been disassociating for most of my life. And why the fuck would I even be present if I've experienced the amount of things that I've experienced? I mean, talk about financial abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, you name it. But from this, I found my power and the knowledge that I know and what I've been through. And I realized that talk therapy only does so much. It's great if you want to go to a therapist. It definitely won't hurt you. It can help you, but there's a part of this and healing that's it's energetic, and these trapped emotions and this trauma, it gets stored in your body and you don't process it. Anytime you want to cry and you want to process it and you choke it down, you shove it down, you can't even be yourself in that household. This stuff gets stored in your body, gets stored in your fascia, and you need a way to release it. And later on, if you don't release it, it will cause disease and illness related to where you've stored that trauma. Read The Body Keeps the Score. Like this, it's true. And talk therapy, don't get me wrong, it helped. But I didn't truly reach the next level of healing first when I left an unsafe environment, when I left my now ex-husband, when I left that relationship, I gave myself a safe place to heal, because you can't heal in an environment that does not feel safe. And he would just blow up, punch holes in the walls. Like, you couldn't talk to him about some things. He I don't understand his reasoning, but whatever, it's not my problem anymore. That's his to heal. And I used to take on people's burdens and their emotions, and I will no longer fucking do that anymore. And anybody who's projected shit on me, it all goes back to you, and it's yours to face and it's yours to carry. And I've become so aware of my energy, and even when I'm carrying things that are not, and I've become so obsessed with this journey, because I have become so driven, and I knew that I was going to heal, and I knew I was going to do it, and I finally did it. And if you would have seen me, like I said, I got off on a tangent, but if you would have seen me 15, 20 years ago, listen, I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it was just, I couldn't regulate my nervous system. It was horrible. And now I'm so free. I'm so happy. I'm able to be me. Like, I feel sometimes the amount of joy and happiness that I feel in my heart, I feel like I'm going to explode. Like, I love life, and life is beautiful. And I choose to see it that way because I've experienced the other coin of that, and how life can feel difficult and hard, and everybody's against you and people turn on you. And, I experienced so much betrayal in my life, but people get their karma. I don't have to lift a finger. You will get your karma. And a lot of this stuff, it's unhealed stuff you haven't even processed. So not only are you going to get karma, but you still got all this shit to heal. So y'all have fun with that. I'm over here. I didn't ask for this shit. And, I've already healed it, and I live a happy life. And now I have boundaries, and I know when people, I can fucking read you like a book. And I'm sure there's a lot of narcissists out there that they think they got one up on me. They think they got me fooled. I'm so much smarter than I look. I really am. And I'm very in-tap, very intuitive. And if you want to know if somebody's toxic or not, pay attention to how you feel around them. Pay attention. Start listening to your body. And that is one of the biggest problems, that we have become so disconnected with our body. And then we gaslight people who actually are connected and who actually talk about energy and stuff like that. We're like, well, what is that? Y'all are so, like, that's really how we should be living. And anyways, that's my little Aquarius energy. We're the natural rebels, but and I'm perfectly okay. And I know that me speaking on stuff like this is probably going to piss off some people. I don't give a fuck. I have done the healing. What's your excuse? These people that project too. And it's funny, and I used to be like, oh my God, what if I piss people off? I don't give a shit. Like, I'm literally just doing me and making videos. And it's funny how you get somebody that's just in the comments that wants to nitpick. Like, because they're nitpicking at themselves. They're judging you, but it's really because they're judging themselves, and they're so terrified of going inward and looking inward. And that was one thing I was going to say, because most narcissists, they don't want to go inward because they're afraid of what they could see, because they have the amount of self-loathing that they have. But let me tell you, freedom is when you go within, when you heal all of that. And some of that stuff that you're feeling is probably not yours. But you've somehow taken it on as yours, and you've said, oh, well, this is me. I'm just hard on myself. Are you really? Is that something generational? Is that something that's been passed down? Was that how your family taught you how to view yourself and how to treat yourself? You do know that you have a fucking say in this, that you are not a slave to your past. You're not a slave to your past lineage. You literally can do fucking anything. And some people are so busy disempowering themselves. It's just incredible to me. It blows my mind. Even my past lineage, it blows my mind how y'all couldn't fathom that, maybe a child needs true unconditional love. They don't give a shit about what clothes you buy, what food you feed them. Obviously, they want food, but it's all about love. You can't even love. And that, my mother, unfortunately, the household that she grew up in, they could not even show her the true unconditional love that she was worthy of. But everything will be exposed. And it just blows my mind how I'm the only one in this bloodline that has enough balls to say, you know what? Even though my mother hurt me, I'm not going to prolong, and that's not going to be like, I'm not going to contribute to this cycle. I'm going to break this cycle. And it's amazing. I mean, like, that the right thing to do is actually so rare these days. And it comes, and that's not just with breaking generational curses, but it comes with a lot of things in this world. I'm just flabbergasted of the amount of things that you do. You have integrity, you have a good character, that it's so rare these days. And I'm talking about even returning your car, picking up your own dog's crap, like how rare it is. I sure as hell don't want to see somebody else's dog crap, like in my yard. Why the fuck would I leave that? And even in my, like, I don't know. It's amazing how these days, and even treating people with love and compassion is so damn rare. Why? We have become so disconnected from who we truly are, and it's fucking unbelievable. And I'm sorry for the language, but getting a little fired up over this one. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay, back to where I was. I'm so sorry I got off on a tangent, guys. So some people literally don't know what calm feels like. Silence can feel uncomfortable. Rest can create anxiety because their nervous system mistakes calm for danger. When your body has lived in survival mode for years, peace can actually feel unfamiliar. That's why healing isn't forcing yourself to relax. It's teaching your body that you're safe now. And I mean, I totally get it. And now my life is so much different. Literally, I am so peaceful. I'm able to rest and not feel guilty. But some people, they're so busy just scrolling. They don't even know what it's like to sit in a house that's quiet. For the most part, I don't even keep the TV on. If it wasn't for my youngest, my kids, I probably would never turn that thing on. I mean, sometimes I'll watch movies, but like, I don't keep it on. And my mom used to be the complete opposite. My God, that TV had to be going. I don't know if she even slept with it on, but my God, just all the time. All the time. Does that not get exhausting? And having all that, like, that's not me. But sometimes what feels unfamiliar can feel unsafe, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it is unsafe. Sometimes you have to retrain your body and your nervous system to know that, hey, this is safe and we are okay. It's okay to rest because God did not make us to just go, go, go all the time. I am not a fucking slave and I refuse to be one. It's okay to rest. If you don't rest and you're going nonstop, you will get burnt out. You will get sick. It will catch up with you. So progress can feel ordinary, but choose progress over perfection. And your habits can become your identity. And just remember that healing isn't dramatic. It's the tiny moments. It's taking one breath. It's setting one boundary. It's going for one walk. It's choosing one healthy thought. It's stopping one negative spiral. Those tiny moments slowly become the nervous system's new normal. So your nervous system learns through repetition and not perfection. So it's the small moments that truly change everything. And you may think that these moments feel like it doesn't feel different. But what may feel almost invisible at the time can be these moments are slowly adding up to your progress and contributing to your healing. And if you sow those seeds, you will eventually reap the rewards. So really what safety actually looks like, safety looks like being able to relax and not feeling guilty. Being able to be flexible when something unexpected happens, not feeling like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Being able to be calm and composed and not have to constantly have, music or something in the background. Healing is being okay, not being in chaos. And just remember, just because something used to be normal doesn't mean that it's healthy for you or that it's, quote, safe. So safety isn't always having all the answers. Never feeling anxious, controlling everyone. Safety can look like deep breathing, slowing down, getting enough sleep, healthy relationships, going outside, moving your body, keeping promises to yourself, speaking kindly to yourself, setting boundaries, and letting yourself rest. Every time you choose one of these things, you're sending your nervous system a message. I am safe enough to slow down. So I think so many of us spend years trying to fix ourselves, when what we really need is to help our body feel safe. You don't have to become someone new. You don't have to force yourself to heal. You don't have to have it all figured out. You simply need enough moments of safety that your nervous system begins believing a different story. If today's episode resonated with you, please remember this. Healing isn't about becoming a different person. It's about helping your nervous system realize the danger has passed so the real you has room to emerge. So thank you so much for listening to the Kelly Healing Project. Remember that healing is not about becoming somebody new. It's about reconnecting with who you truly are. Healing the past, empowering your future. If you'd like to connect further, you can visit me at thekellyhealingproject.com. I'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.